Okay, hello there, welcome back. Alright, without further ado, let's just get in there. Let's go, go, go. Yeah, so we know this act is pivotal for making our progress. I just feel like we know exactly where to go right now. Wait, what do you mean return to town? Did they restructure something? What do you mean return to town? Am I not? What? No, yeah, I didn't make a mistake. It's a little different up there. I used to the... See, I always went up here. Sarn Arena. Maybe I'm mistaken. Oops. Yeah, no, I just wanted to... We'll get one in. Let's see how this one turns out. And maybe I'll go back. I'll go more. Oof, never mind. Bye. We learned our lesson there. So there, I learned my lesson. I don't really care for flasks right now. I'm kind of okay. I got some... With imbued and, you know, I got some nice things. So since we last talked, I've given some thought about originality versus collaboration ability, right? And it seems like anyone wanting to enter the industry for certain kinds of industries, they're just gonna want definitely collaboration to be something. But also not to be left out. Okay. I mean, originality definitely. It's like they definitely need the originality at some point, and that's, I guess, at first either coming from the concept artist, right? The provider of references. Professionals, they'd like to see the reference and the creative process. So sometimes the challenge is the concept art, where it's come from, right? Sometimes it's because it's an original work that it hasn't been, sometimes it's like, maybe this isn't always the case, but a means to an end where they need sometimes just to make the concept art just to 3D model, right? And it's first and foremost 3D model, but then they're letting concept art happen in the before. And sometimes maybe the concept artist, right? Their end game was the. I mean, if they knew eventually it'd be 3D, maybe they'd make it a little easier for that to happen. But so that's okay. But you see what I mean? Like they knew what they were shooting. Like that was their thing, is the 2D. And it's like I'm already trying to glance over the concept art stage, just because I know it still has to get modeled. But because of that, working the piece, right, whatever stage it's in, working it when it's in concept art stage helps you get through some things, maybe challenges, roadblocks, and maybe even see how you can innovate or have an interesting approach, tasteful. I think now if you could also just let someone else do that, but then I feel like then we don't want to develop a dependence on each other. Maybe it's just a matter of me working through on my own concept art, and it'll function, right? It doesn't have to always, and that's the thing, I guess it doesn't always have to look beautiful to me. It's like how finished, presentable is the concept art, right? And if I scribbled on a napkin, right, but it helped me create a nice 3D model character, does it matter? But maybe it does. In a studio, well, I guess it depends on, there are more risks taken for different kinds of industries. Games, movies, right? Some of them are they might take a little while, a couple years. Maybe just reducing the scope of even also the art. That way, when we go through the paces of testing the concept, maybe the concepts is the point of the concept is to work through something new, just get into a new area, right? Because we're tired of also sometimes tired concepts, right? Your standard, well, I was just praising them last night, but let's just say your standard run-of-the-mill skeleton, right? Right, it's heavily used. How is your skeleton? We're not saying never try to interpret the skeleton, but interpreting the skeleton is going to be that much more of a challenge, right? To have something, I think, I don't want to say you redefine skeleton, but tell me you're redefining skeleton without telling me that, right? Type of thing. And hey, maybe you do that through maybe you're a VFX artist, maybe you're the sculptor, the texture artist, the model. I mean, so maybe some people just genuinely have, maybe this is just getting lost in translation, that some people just have such a strong preference for the particular specialty, right? That's of course they're gonna have someone else's concept art because they are passionately in love with sculpting, and they want to spend more time sculpting and less time dealing with, right, anything else that's not sculpting. Wow, that's a tasteful ring right there. Look at it. I feel honored to have been granted such a boon. Oh, that was an accident. So that's what I'm thinking, and maybe I gotta, anyone who wants to make game art or in general just ask themselves, maybe what do I like doing, or if there's something I'm not liking to do, why is that, right? Because then maybe I'm expecting, I don't mind making, I'd like to be able to make my own original concepts, but I get that there's, then it seems like you're to become the pro fastest, right? You only have so much time, the years that it would already take you to become a pro modeler or something, right? It's gonna tack on a couple more years to become that pro. I mean, generalist is a thing though, and to be honest, I do like sometimes what creations are spawned from the mixing, the intermingling of some of these disciplines. And maybe that's what makes them stand out, is because their projects in particular will have certain je ne sais quoi, like that. Maybe their creative, the challenges, wow. It's a beautiful helmet, but I won't be wearing that. That one at least, but yeah, I think maybe then reconsidering the creative approaches, and maybe sometimes building a portfolio like everyone else. For example, getting someone else's concept art, right? Like, I get that. I also have the thought that it makes other people look good too, not just you. That you, at least, like, you got permission, right? So it's all legit, and they get to, it's like they get to know that someone liked their concept art enough to want to make it 3D. Others get to see that. You get to look like someone who literally makes other people's dreams come true. And I get that, but there's like this stubborn part of me that's like, if I'm not making this original, if this isn't original, then why am I even doing this? Like, why am I? Like, that's the frontier I felt like I should be on.
Allow your wisdom to be tempered by the flames of the past.
Maybe I'm not challenging myself enough with some of maybe I'm thinking it's like you almost had this can't win state where it's like a project seems it seems easy enough to do that you can do it, but then it's like you almost take it for granted and you're like, don't even make that like something, because it's like you weren't even given it, you underestimated that project. Let's say, oh, model a treasure chest, right? It's a tried, it's a very tried concept. And maybe you do, maybe you don't make it, and maybe you do or you don't like it. I think maybe if we build more, how we could build more satisfaction with our pieces that we do. And for games, it's like, I guess what I like, I like versatility too, in that how with just in one model, with one asset, how much we can get away with and do.
You are beatific because you answer to no one. And that's why no one will miss you.
My bad. Yeah, I got a little wild in there. It's glass cannon. Okay. Oh yeah, it's
This is how the real world is.
Testing my lightning resistance.
This is how the real world is.
It's not standing in the way of those. There we go. See ya. Tolman, no, she's like. She's like that hobby. So with maximum life and fire. So this is straight up an upgrade over that one. This is still not a bad ring. Now we go back. And now we've been granted passage to the sewers. Wraeclast.
Watch yourself.
Yeah, let's just not hoard on to certain things. Just absolutely send it packing. Right, I can't use any of that right now. This gives maximum life and fire resistance, and bonus fire resistance. It's obviously a blessing to fire resistance, so we'll go with that one. I'll keep these two just because I like looking at them and remembering. Okay, we won't try not to take too long. We did have to swap stuff. Oh, the amulet, huh? We could definitely do with a different amulet. That point is just better.
What is it?
Okay, yeah, we might need to run one of those. Grace. Evasion, that's important for us, huh? Let's go with that one. Running Frostblink, Herald of Ice. Herald was in the, what's her name's? Another area. So I'm just making it magic, so I probably don't need another one of those. What's all the rest of this then? We're fine,
Watch yourself.
I suppose. Oh, hey.
Tolman's dead then.
Oh, well, there you go. I just bought Grace, but... Okay.
General Gravisi. Goodbye.
Oh, Victoria.
We'll just survey the wares real quick. Just that beautiful 4-piece, huh? Fire damage to attacks. Doesn't match the theme quite, huh? The build. Need 3 link? No.
Don't do anything I would.
Oh, okay. So getting a Frostblink would be nice, but Sniper's Mark. So mana forged arrows with our frenzy. And we should have 2 added cold damage, right? Well, so we got that one and that one. I should say. So a Herald of Ice. We will have Frostblink in there. Now they both need faster attacks. Do they? Rain of Arrows could use faster attacks too. I guess I'll hold on to it then. I'll change my faster attacks. So as long as I got 2 added colds. So the shrapnel could use the added cold too. And I got Grace for you. So if I get some mana forged, so we can get it from Nessa. Elemental attacks. Okay, Herald of Ice and mana forged arrows. One at a time, so Yena or Yena. Oh, hey.
Humanity, the end of learning. You have made exiles.
I knew.
Thank you.
I am not
Wow, cost of transmutation. Do I dare? Of course I dare. Give me that amulet. So Herald of Ice. I didn't have one, I believe. So now I do. Because I had picked a different reward. We'll need this one eventually, so I'll grab it now. I already got Trinity support. That's all. Mana Forge arrows. So now we got, instead of it being all green, we have one blue socket for Frostblink we'll need to consider now. And one red. Well, once we get at 28, we'll switch to, that's where we're at now, Artillery Ballista. So we're running Shrapnel Ballista. Mana Forge arrow support. Okay, we'll take it. The Siege Ballista. No, we're not using this. So there is Shrapnel Ballista, Siege Ballista, and Artillery Ballista. Okay. Go ahead. Go back to Act 3 then. After a certain quest, though, is complete, we unlock that.
Yes. See you.
Okay, eventually, huh? So that works out there. Good. Herald device can stay by itself for now. Oh, and I used it for our last transmutation stone. I'll have to be patient on that one. Okay, we can continue.
I walked halfway, tread carefully, exile.
That's what I was hoping for. A slums. Did it reset? Not quite. Whoops. I'm used to using... Okay, let's see. Control, Shift, Alt. Maybe I should have gone to the from the other side.
I'm not up to that just yet.
Yeah, Blink Arrow. I should not have been leveling Blink Arrow. Huh? I see this now. Here we are up here. Another act, another day, another act 3. Actually, we're reserving mana right now. That's why.
My mana is full.
I keep chugging potion, thinking that my mana was low. For all intents and purposes, it is. Look at that. Though limiting what we pick up, we don't need to make as frequent of trips. So. I did kind of skip over that little quest. No one said I had to do that, right? Come on. I've done that plenty of times. Like, I was just curious. So yeah, we're almost capped out on fire resistance now. That's surprising. All these augmentations were the there it is. Do we YOLO? Use it on our turquoise piece. So we'll be playing it safe. What's better to use them? Amulets, jewelry. Jewelry's already ready to go. Whirling staff, I suppose it's cool. So, but not before long, we'll be equipping the catacombs. That's another ascendancy trail. Yeah, we gotta. Let's make us a little more powerful. Let's do it. Yes, so, okay. Sometimes knowing what it is you'd like to make, right? But other times, if you can just, it's like the reason I think sometimes starting to make some art is because the moment you have something going, it's like you have if you can create your own starting point, even if it's not always the best starting point, you can, it's like you give yourself something to work with from there, right? So, and what I'm saying is sometimes maybe you can, or you could, or you don't have to get another person's concept. You could do it yourself. I've been feeling more about. I was gonna work on some art before I decided to stream this game, but then I was thinking that what I was kind of considering what would my eyes be drawn to. I was gonna kind of just let myself just relax by playing this game and see what catches my attention, you know. And I've been thinking about the spiders, you know, and the skeletons. You know, I've been thinking about the characters, to be honest. And so I've been kind of thinking about characters. But not to say I wouldn't consider a prop. I was thinking about props as well. And environment. All of it, really. It's all beautiful. And I realized that starting from somewhere, right? And that somewhere could be just making my own concept. And if it's just a matter of making it look presentable, right? Which is, who is it for? If you're thinking, I guess it has to be for me, but also, I guess I kind of like the thought that we can connect from what it helps certain people connect, I think, right? That based on the kind of work you're showcasing, right, in your portfolio, who you might like to talk to. So considering certain things like style, art style, maybe. So knowing right off the bat, do I want to go photorealism? Do I want to go game art, right? And sometimes the photorealism, you have benefits of PBR pipelines and stuff like that. The catacombs that's it, right?
My mana is gone.
I just don't get how frenzy works. I just pop it. Okay, so this is what I was hoping to see. It means we can just go back to the marketplace then. Yeah, but so making your own original concept and how you get there. Well, maybe it's because also are you using whose reference? It's like, I don't know, it makes it seem like such a process to talk to a bunch of people about the prospect of being able to use their stuff in a piece, but you can't assume that, right? So if it don't happen, oh well. Now I'd love to give it a modifier. Do I just say YOLO? You know what? Sometimes one of these, huh? So a belt, ring, amulets. We'll have, okay, so this is not something I care for per se, but maybe I'll get more. But we could straight up just YOLO that amulet. Let's do it. And what we are rewarded with, maximum life and cold resistance and life. If that armor was instead, that'd be great. I'm not gonna be, I won't complain though. Will I ever use this? Okay, the quiver. Just for the quiver, it seems like. We still got those other two, huh? But honestly, I can't complain with that one. That just capped out our fire resistance, didn't it? No. No, my bad, but now the other two aren't as
Need something?
we're doing pretty good though.
Be careful.
So if we're just shooting for a maximum life and at least one resistance on each piece of gear, right? Okay, so yeah, the boots, the hat, and the gloves, and the chest, obviously. Okay, our accessories are good, right? But our bread and butter could do with some improvement. And I'd have to scour that just to get it to go. I'm not gonna do that though. It's not necessary.
What's up?
Don't do anything I would.
So it's only at a certain quest, huh?
Need something?
That she will give me.
Watch yourself.
What do we have left? Act 1. Okay. I remember now. So it was over yonder, huh? Not in the Fell Shrine ruins, but the catacombs, was it? The crypt. But of course.
I'm not up to that just yet.
Fell Shrine ruins, yeah. Yeah, no, I wasn't worried about making a awful concept though. But at least going from there, that's something. And I think maybe how our thoughtful presentation, maybe that's what I was thinking about, just with my own concept, would make it better is just me spending the time to work with it, right? And work out the creative, right? It's like the design challenges. It's like there's a certain type of the creative problem solving aspect that I'm listening to people and experts, right, from the industry advise for students and portfolio builders, right? That ultimately some of these collaborative, they're group-based projects, right? So I think that's something that's really core, is show that you can work with people, but not only like that you can't work maybe by yourself, huh? So I think they liked you to get permission for art stuff, and that's nice. But doing your own stuff makes you, I feel like, well then who also are you working with? The indies, right? And I feel like if I'm not already using the specific industry, because when you describe your breakdown, your processes, of course you're gonna also, right, proudly talk about your software. And if you're not using anything less than all the industry standard softwares, maybe Maya, right, into ZBrush for the sculpting, right? So you do modeling in Maya, sculpting ZBrush. Maybe you do rendering and Marmoset Toolbag. Right, bam. That's like that particular workflow. So you're gonna know, you need to know all those tools, right, for different, Marmoset for rendering, right? So you have the modelings, software, right? The sculpting software dedicated, right? And then you got the render engine. Also sometimes texture painting, right? And then you might have substance painter in there, huh? For the texture painting. So Maya into sculpting, ZBrush, right? Sculpting details, and then texture painting in substance painter, right? And anything less than that, you are not the fit for that AAA-esque specialist role, right? And maybe that's what those ones help, those particular tools help you achieve. Now, if I'm modifying this right, you might substitute 3 of them, right, with Blender. Blender's free, that's your modeling software, right? Boom, do your sculpting in there. Do your rendering. Well, before you do your rendering in there, but now it's like you can, and your texturing in there, but now you can change it up. And maybe you work on just modeling in there, just the sculpting. Maybe you, so this, I started adapting how, where do I want my models? At first I did want to do everything in Blender, but then I thought, sometimes I needed it to go somewhere else after Blender, and specifically a game engine, right? Whether it was Unity or now Unreal. It's gonna go into a game engine, so honestly I found that sometimes there's not always the best translation of things from one to another, so you don't need to exhaust the extensive list of features on one, check all those boxes, and you could just get a certain thing you might need, right? And me, it's the mesh, right? Sometimes the mesh is the most important, right? It's just the block out, if anything, the mesh. And I realized that that's one of the more important things, shape language, etc. And then where do you go after that? Maybe if I did do everything in Blender, I just go for straight from Blender to Unreal Engine, right? That's the workflow. And so I know that maybe I'm going to be doing more shader building, material building inside with you on the Unreal side, and it saves me. Not that Blender doesn't have its own assets, but with the Unreal suite, I say suite comes, right, the ability, just not having to save myself some time on certain things, right, like having some procedural base. I'm not huge on hand painting everything. It does take a lot longer to do stuff. Sometimes the iterative process is different, right? Proceduralism, you could practice, experiment. My bad, I'm just going through this. Little exile boot camp over here, huh?
Shine boldly, so that all may find you when the night falls.
Yeah, we were just doing the one, so we're good now. Now, have I missed out on one? Where's the last ascent? I was expecting to do that right about now. But yeah, so concept art, my own concept art, right? For what I would model. References. Okay, it's obviously something after the catacombs, right? In which case, right?
Need something?
You accidentally pick it up.
See you.
Accidentally sell it. Whoops. Yeah, no, I'm gonna end up loading up that. I'm gonna hoard all those gems. I don't need them. Well, some of them might have quality. I just haven't been sorting through them. So we keep going, huh? I get a move on. But working out design challenges. Sometimes the context matters. At least I know it's game specific, right? Okay, that's something that's helps me narrow down my focus. Game specific. I mean, sometimes people like to advise the specific things. Oh, are you the environment artist? Let's get some environment, you know, maybe you do a little bit of character. I don't know, that's what I was kind of, in a way, I wanted to not whittle down my options, because you don't want to have less options, but to the ship's graveyard. I can't drop that, can I? I should have not even picked it up, huh, if I didn't want to do that quest. Never mind. Yeah, I don't give an F about that quest right now. And but you know, we could turn a concept, we could just, I don't want to say beautify the concept art, it's not an illustration, but maybe sometimes how presentable we make it look, slightly change up its presentability, and maybe it's just because of weaker character, I don't know, maybe there's something that can't be avoided, and that's just getting critiqued, you know. Maybe sometimes you just gotta be told by other people, like, hey, you told me, hey, you, I see you did this, your own concept art on this one, and they critique, let's say they're critiquing it because I posted it somewhere, right, for other people to see. And eventually someone's gonna have to see this thing. Can't have the analysis but paralysis. We're just thinking about crafting the perfect plan, huh, or making that art, making that thing, the concept art, or to model, right, other model. And some people take great effort though, you know, right, and I feel like I didn't want to have to spend too much time doing the concept art. I'm not, when I just want to get into the model, so I might do maybe some quick rough. I like doing stuff on paper though. And I feel like scanning, it's fine and all, it just doesn't always have the cleanest look, huh? But if you did do your own digital art concepting, maybe that will hold off. They'll hold well, too. But you know what, maybe then that's where it doesn't matter. I guess you could be honest and talk about your process. You did a, you want to tell them everything, huh? Glance over nothing, huh? I'm just thinking if you want to show them how you had, oh, we had a great amulet. I couldn't dare pick up another one. I was spoiled with that amulet. But if you like me, you like pen and paper. Sometimes it just gets started, right, with the concept. Cool, you can scan and take a picture, yeah, but then you don't need to immediately use that, right, for your portfolio piece. You take that, right, and maybe now you can drag it on over. I'm almost tempted. I'm highly tempted. Let's okay, because we needed the red and the blue linked up in here, but it is a 4-link, but we don't need it. We need, at best it's either going to be 2 greens and a red or blue.
You've given me so much. What can I do for you, Wraeclast?
Wow. But so we take our scan of the artwork, right, made traditionally, we scan it, bring it into our, and sometimes they want you, oh, you Photoshop, right, sometimes Photoshop, I didn't even mention Photoshop, they get thrown in there too, huh? And they're sweets. Well, now that they're owned by Substance, it's like you have your choice of either or. But we take it into there and we kind of improve, enhance the art, the concept art, and I guess maybe that's already part of the workflow. It's just how often are we doing that? It's like they want to see the roughs, but they also want to see like a cleaner rough, less rough, more like almost a polished rough, like we're polishing the rough, and sometimes maybe that's taking up too much time, precious time. Happy with my belt right now. But if I wasn't, look, I could do this to it. I give the quiver fire resistance. Nah, I prefer to use it on the armor though. Possible. Any armor piece will get fire resistance. That's speed. Now we're almost capped up though, so if I do that, I'll need to swap out. This place is huge, huh? So now that's something I'm thinking about is, okay, I love and prefer honestly to have the pen and paper to start off. And if I do that, boom, it's just that much easier, that much quicker to get started. I don't need to procrastinate. I don't need to feel like I need. Maybe that's just uncomfortability with pen stuff or with like digital. But honestly, there's a beauty in the, right? Like if I'm out and about and I'm not on my pen stuff, I might just have my roughs, right? Maybe that's how I know I'm really enjoying this lifestyle as an artist and such, where maybe I do carry with me things to draw on a whim or sketch something, right? Concept art. And then I can go take that later on and do what I will with it. And maybe that's something that also I could do now, that maybe certain things you will just have to do when you do get a solo in a solo route. Not forever though. And sometimes I feel like I want to make myself it's like to make a point to the would-be team, right, that maybe you're gonna involve yourself in. Oh, okay. So this has lightning resist and maximum life and evasion. It's perfect right now for me then. We can say goodbye to this forever now. We don't need that. No more. Bye. And now we know we don't need to use that on the piece of chest, huh? Now since our fire is already capped out, we might need a fire thing. So the boots, what do we give? We did it. We have maximum life and the fire resistance on there now. And now we definitely have capped out fire. Just barely capped out. I could swap out my belt or something for... I like the belt now though. Hey, we still gotta get the gloves and the boots in order. But as for our resistances, it's pretty nice right there. So, touching up on the concept art, just making it more presentable for the portfolio side of things. Of course, you can make it easier for a 3D artist to use, but also maybe also for at least, okay, maybe this is the distinction between what takes so long is that sometimes not everything you do for the portfolio project is just needed for on an everyday to day basis, right? It's only, you're only given that extra energy, time, right, money, and possibly because it's the portfolio piece and not always the day to day. But I guess some say you should fall in love with the you should love the process, right? So you can get your your process to be as close to maybe what you need it to be. Greater. I don't need that. Try to have things as close to maybe the process that you'd like them to be. If I'm not already like drawing, I shouldn't even dare consider the concept of, I mean, hey, to not draw though, I mean, to not like the drawing part, that's one thing, but I mean, for how much I need it for, right? But it's like, it seems like when it comes for the sake of portfolio building, like, I was almost thrown for a loop with concerning concept art, but I feel like if it were just me, I didn't have to worry about all that, you know, the expectations. I would just create my own art piece. Oops. Maybe I'm mistaken, huh? Maybe definitely the style, maybe for more photorealism based things you want to have, maybe the reference has got to be more on point, because you want, you know, you do a lizard character, you'll have like a little, you know, your mood board, your reference board, and you have, oh, the lizard scale section, right, where you might have 3 pieces to help you nail down what that texture might look like, how to sculpt that, etc. And then you might have like it's a large barbarian like character, maybe you have then large buff male like figure, reference figures, right? So then you combine that with the lizard stuff, and then maybe a weapon or something, who knows, right? But you combine all those, and then many more, right? Sometimes many of those, many more elements in your character concept. And there's like then challenges you could then solve yourself or have others solve. And in which case, like, okay, if that's 3 features, right? Maybe for a character, let's say any kind of piece of thing, 3 features, right? It's big, right? It's a giant barbarian, like it's lizardly, it's scaly, right? Boom, that's 2 things. And then does the giant lizard use a teeny tiny weapon, or do they have a weapon as a musical instrument, etc.? There's your 3rd element. They're a musician, a large musician lizard. I dub lounge lizard. Now you would either get the professional references and permissions right yourself from there, or then because now you kind of know what you'd like to make, right? And that's something I think maybe is really one of the most important things for a artist, right? Is to work on that from there, right? And then maybe you don't need to do, also if you're indie, maybe you don't need to go all AAA and treatment right on your portfolio if you're not even expecting to talk to those people, right? So I'm thinking, if I don't expect to even, if I'm already not using those top tools right now, those highest perceived tools, right, that they have,
The cockroaches will come again. I like
and their
you.
perception,
Believe me, not
that
a cockroach.
I'm gonna have to either, it almost makes me feel like I have to adopt those things or I'm not. Doesn't matter what I do right now, making, well, I can still practice, but they still want me to use those tools, know how to use them, so I'd have to start practicing on them now, huh?
I'm not up to that just yet.
Okay, I was hoping it would work. But yeah, you don't, maybe then also if you make, okay, if you, it's clear from indie standpoint that no, the concept art isn't like, they love that maybe you could already be multidisciplinary for an indie, right? I feel like, I don't know, we're quick to overwrite how much, I don't know, sometimes game devs and artists, they make a pretty decent living, and sure, maybe the AAA salaries are a little bigger, sometimes double, but honestly it's like you don't even need that much to live, right? So sometimes even the indie salary could be totally fine, because at least you're on a team, right, with other people, right? Game dev, and you're doing collaborative projects, it's nice. I'm sure, I hope it's nice that maybe on a not so big team, some of that interpersonal nature of working somewhere with others, that you bounce off, you're almost refreshing for each other, helps keep you going. But to be able to do that for yourself, by yourself, right, I think counts. Especially like working remote, like I may or may not even have to go to the office, right? I might just be here working on stuff from my workstation, and just got to be able to be independent, right? Enough independence, collaborative, communicative. I feel like that's something I could definitely, I feel like I'm not as worried about over maybe some other devs. I got to be out amongst people, so I could be okay with that. Now just getting my portfolio either more specific or just like, and maybe that's where I kind of am figuring that out, where do I want to go stylized or do I want to go realistic? And I feel like, okay, I guess I'm already going to be talking about, regardless, indies can do stylized or realistic, right? So that's not the point. Tools, big thing for industry standard. AAA meaning, right? Blender, probably a mainstay and more than enough for indie. Maybe some indie would want some new tools for you to use, but maybe it's not always a deal breaker. So that's who I might be talking to, right? Indie devs. So they like that I could be multidisciplinary. Maybe they do like that I specify, maybe let's just say stylized for an example, right? So I'm choosing to embrace indies, right? So I'm going stylized. Maybe some of them like hand painted, some not. I wanted, and that's where I would then, if I did do that, I would do stylized proceduralism, right? Where I could have because sometimes the stylization almost makes you think that I like how maybe it doesn't have to take as much sometimes effort as, I feel like with sometimes how much, because I know I want to make games and how much assets that, you don't always need a lot, but you gotta be making those assets sometimes, and so using them to their fullest, right? That's something else. I know I want to make games. I'm not making any 3D model for a film, well, not necessarily. Maybe I would, but definitely games, right? Indie studio. More detail. Wow.
That one will slow me down.
Remove curses. Sure. Remove my curses. Yeah, we can vendor that. How nice. I was actually hoping to get the dock, or the market, the waypoint. Maybe I'm spending too much time with that. But yeah, knowing who you want to talk to. So if I absolutely had to be AAA, industry standard tools, maybe photo, realistic, focused, with maybe a more specific area, right? But if it's indies, the conversation, use whatever you got, right? Blender, Mixer, Unreal. That's my alternate trajectory. I've compared, right, versus the Maya, ZBrush, Substance Painter, Marmoset renderer, right, Dependent, right, etc., etc. Since I know Unreal, right, is where it's going. It's a 3D asset, first of all. It's going into Unreal Engine for games specifically, right? And I could make it stylized, but also sometimes stylization doesn't always have to mean hand painted, but sometimes it is hand painted. Definitely sometimes sculpted, you know. But maybe having a little bit of each, right? It's not always like just only sculpting, just only texturing, but maybe you have that little bit of both, right? And that's why it looks believable or aesthetic pleasing, right? Satisfying. And then maybe a little bit of particle effect. It doesn't always though. Animation, like, you know, sometimes it's not everything gets that treatment, but things work together, right? Maybe things that look good when they move, could even make things that don't move look good, right? So like if your character is one of the most active elements on the screen, and not all the static environments are, well, not all the props in the environment are static, right? But you can't have everything moving. Here we are, finally made it. So I think maybe accepting that I don't have to work at an indie. I mean, I could work at an indie, and I don't have to work at a big AAA. Right. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm gonna go to the camp real quick just to sell stuff up. I've been thinking about if I had the possibility of another character, and I think about it, and I'm just like, no, I don't. Like, I'll keep the belts because they're okay, but it's like I'm never going back with some of these abilities. Sell it, huh?
Hello.
I know, huh? Those gems, huh? Never have to go out of control. I will hold on to them. Sometimes, like with the supports, I might need doubles of certain things. Not always expensive, but yeah. See, look, I know those are all nice stuff, but definitely the melee ones, huh? I don't always need the melee ones, but leave them alone, huh? I don't need them. I don't need to worry about them right now. You know, I'll save it with me for that. So we are over on our. I like my belt though. I like that it's rare, kind of. If I'm being honest, I would like to do something about the quiver. I've had that quiver for a while.
Hello.
It's not bad, but I feel like it was asking a lot for what it was prepared to give me. Adds fire damage. It's not a bad quiver, but so let's not spend too long. We need to get a red socket in there eventually for our artillery. ballista setup. Which does Clarissa supposed to have that, but maybe it's too soon.
Be careful.
Oh wait, could Marmoa have it?
Yes.
No.
The gemling, you. Goodbye.
To the sewers, we're almost done with Act 3 now. And maybe then I'll take a short break. But yeah, no, I mean, it's been kind of nice to air out, I think, how I've been thinking about the process and deciding indie or not indie. And I've decided indie. I've decided Unreal as my endpoint. So Blender is a means to help me get to Unreal. And I don't need, there's certain things I just don't need to do. I love Blender and I love certain things that I could do. Not all of it's going to translate as well as I'd like it to in Unreal. So I'll just need to use it for what I need it to. And then bring in, and I will definitely use it still, because I can't rely only on Megastan assets, right? But making my own stuff in Blender, you know, when I will try to, I wouldn't mind using Megascan stuff. It's just not only maybe Megascan stuff. Of course. But yeah, it also helps with like not having, maybe it reminds you that that could be, you could have your own library of assets, right? Like that. And for now, I can even build it up my own with this stuff, right? Of course, things that aren't, it's an Unreal project, so it's all in the up and up. But since I know that's where I need it to go, right? And for how right games in Unreal specifically, I work from there. I think something else about concept art that throws me off is, I think, preparing a side profile for myself. And maybe it's because I realized maybe I was not having fun making the concept art for a side profile because I was maybe how I was creating it, and maybe I was taking the more novice approach of straight up taking your front and side profiles and just kind of like not tracing, well, it's almost like the tracing equivalent for a 3D artist. You might have I might take a picture of a box, right, and then model out the box and the shit. I mean, it's kind of okay, but and then you might end up just recreating the whole dang thing from that image, and it's, I don't know, maybe you're not growing as much, but I realized maybe that's where I was already dreading the process of using the side profile, or to even making the side profile. I thought, because oh boy, I'm gonna have to try to model this thing from the side too, or sculpt it right, and that wasn't right. It's like your approach. Maybe sometimes your starting point for even the things you thought you didn't like or weren't big on liking, maybe it's just because of how you were doing it in that way. And I feel like maybe now, for concept art at least, I know. Wow, that's a 4 link. But fortunately,
Without men like you, Gravicius, this land might just start healing itself.
those curses on me, so I have no use for curses. Well, that's our waypoint, huh? Well, one of them, I should say. But now that I know for concept, I gotta just have a different approach that I shouldn't have to be copying and pasting the profile, right, of something necessarily when I 3D model it, that I'm creating the concept art to help me have some information about the project and not expect it to do everything for me. In fact, I wouldn't even, I could still do the side profile, but it's like, why am I doing the side profile? Because the character has horns on their head, and maybe I see the tilt of the horn. It's not right. But also, I can have a little bit more fun with it because I know that it's not always. Maybe I have the, okay, you have the pieces of it, the components of it, right? Like, I have a couple things, let's say it's one page, a one-pager dedicated to a particular portfolio piece, right? Across the top bar of this piece of paper you have, let's say it's in, I want to say it's in thirds, but it might just be in little clusters of 3, maybe let's just say 3 images, or drawings in this case, right? Concepts for something. Yeah, I'm trying to play in this, speak on it. No, but this is important. I think it's important to say that to have more fun with the concept art process, and it will definitely be easier to make it look more presentable on the computer later if you were willing to do that. And maybe you'd be willing to if you liked it, how it came out, and maybe you like how it comes out because you know you don't have to do as much of it as you think you do, right? Let's say I'm making a shield across the top bar. I have maybe a shapes of shields, right? Maybe I have shapes, right? And I work out triangular, square, rectangle, you know what I mean? I work out different round shields, right? I maybe work out the shape of the shield. And you can see that, and then maybe the materials, right? Like I show like wood versus metal, etc. And maybe what it would look like, damage, right? Or something like that. And then sometimes you have the colors, right? What it look like. I mean, I don't know, I guess you don't always need the color. Maybe sometimes the artists like that, having the color in the design worked out. Yeah, I try not to complicate the color palette. I wouldn't mind leveraging the power of like a color palette generator that already kind of has been trained to work with colors that work, you know, depending on how, do you want them to be harmonious, do you want them to clash, right? It's like you get to decide. I think it's nice because then you don't have to be so picky you don't have to be so attached to a single color from the beginning. You can kind of know what you'd like to use. Like, okay, I like red and gold, right? Colors for this shield. I explore that, but then also maybe you should show them a little exploration of it too. It's just like having 3 examples of maybe the various stages of the thing, and you only have the 3 examples of the 3 major features, right, which are part of the, I don't know, it's like almost not compartmentalizing, but you gotta know what you'd like to make, otherwise it feels endless, right? So if you knew you're making a shield, right, fantasy shields-esque, right, stylized, right, for a video game, let's make it perform it, huh? And you show a case of your portfolio, right, that shield, and because that you have a little nicer concept page that you prepared to showcase that you have thought about maybe material, texture, shapes, right, language, design, colors, all that and more. Of course, it'd be nice to have a full-on character, huh? Holding that shield, but that's if you were into that.
You've so much to answer for.
But you can just go ahead and pick one asset, right? Turn this, maybe this a little bright. Sometimes it just starts with one asset. If you allow yourself to make the shield, here's the artillery ballista I've been patient for, huh?
Despite, goodbye.
Hello.
She's very melancholy. I can't blame her. It's, she's been through it seems. Yeah, I think it's because not all assets are gonna need to be as important, right, as sometimes the hero assets, etc. First person game, right, knowing the kind of game you're making. And then gameplay driving design choices, right? Like, okay, you made that enemy have horns to do a charging attack, because that's the type of enemy that one is, right? So you want, if it's going to be a enemy that charges, you want to work with what charging designs look like for a character if they spin, right? So sometimes just having a little bit of knowing, like almost with a willpower, what you'd like to make. But still leaving the door open for like anything to happen, right? Like maybe sometimes you want to make, let's say the character specifically, or just the prop that any character could use, right? But you know what that means, right? You want to make the vehicle, you want to make the building, the place, or the person or the thing. I'd like to do the Ascendancy or the Labyrinth before I head up. But hey, would you look at that? I guess depending on the team, huh? You want to show that maybe you're going to solve problems for them. How you might solve a problem for them. If they find out that their game is like, they're doing like a fishing simulator game, and you like boats, right, or docks or something, and maybe you have both boats, you have docks, you got you know what I mean, you're just kind of you're specking out for the fishing, or maybe you're just boats, or just fishing, just props, just environment, etc. Or maybe you're doing the fish, right, your character. It's like all that people, and every type of artist could get in on that. So this gives us maximum life and cold resistance. That only adds a... Sorry, Quiver, you're gone now. Wow, we're almost capped out on resistances now. That's awesome. I'm used to having my Quicksilver flask on a different... I'm trying out something different. I'm kind of arranging them how the guide shows the gear output, just so I can get used to them being positioned like that, because I always do that last, it seems like, setting up the flasks. And then I end up not always comfortable with how that... Well, not always familiar with that placement. Oh, look at him chugging potions. Oh my gosh, all that side quest stuff for the other character. Yeah, I'm not doing that. I've done that plenty. So I'm thinking if you are quick, concise, and focused with your concept art and what you would like from it, you know, like what to be concept arting, right? And then you can put those together. And I still mean to keep it rough with the. I mean to keep it rough with the pen. Still in the paper. You just got to get started, right? And even if you go from pen and paper, it's like you go somewhere at least. So we gotta make that. We gotta make it happen pen and paper. Ooh. Maybe even if you do the pen and paper, that is like the easiest, nonchalant thing right there. Like, what is that? No, like, what is that? Maybe it's also, it's just, people get it that if you're not, man, if indies are looking at your portfolio, you don't, they might not be so stringent on some of the things, right? So where, sure, maybe the concept, the concept art will get better over time, but maybe it won't stop you from getting that indie job, you know what I mean? And at least you tried to get the job because you had your own original thing and you just tossed your coin, right? Or you net in the hat. You know that expression, and made it happen. And they didn't care too bad that, well, maybe then they know that, okay, hey, they made their own concept, great, that had to be like that, but also, we do happen to have their own concept artists, and they can maybe bring their thing to life. And sometimes I'll keep all those. We don't even, the rules that we think we even have to abide by, right? Sometimes just are not, will be proven to, they'll sometimes become, you know, they'll come to light that we didn't even need to worry about that one thing, right? And I'm so focused on that one right there. Yeah, I'm so focused on the concept art part that it's like I'd almost write myself off from trying to get a job from one of the certain studios, or just in general with this stuff, but it's like I totally could, and at least they're doing collaborative efforts. Okay, I went to the library. But yeah, but I think maybe in indie maybe they're not gonna be so stringent with the thing like okay, he did his own concept art, it's fine. Maybe it's okay. They like the model at least, so maybe they're not worried about. I don't know. Sometimes then it's like it's because it's almost as if they want to. Maybe this is a good thing that the AAA, they go as far as to make like concept art books, right, where they want to show people the process and the public, right, and they want people to buy it. It's almost like a product, right? So now, of course, they want you to have they want the best concept art and stuff because they're gonna turn that concept art into a product all it's by itself, But it's like in the same way, it's like maybe you weren't even expecting that, but maybe you grow wise to that before long. I guess gotta keep those up. No, a real. No. Absolutely no. Of course, I picked the side. I might have picked the side that didn't matter too much. I don't know. So, do you solve a problem? like maybe it depends on how specific you get. Like, let's say you want to be the one that builds the. You're doing lighting, right? You do some candles, maybe a candelabra, standing candle. Like, I don't know, maybe the variation, the variety. Do you want to give him a candle generator, and you're the person that created the maybe you don't always make generators, but you made the candle generator at least. Or do you just move on from, you don't need to make a generator, you just make the couple candles you need, you move on next to do ceiling, or the stack of books, or the bookshelf, right? And you didn't need to always be dedicated to the candle for environment at least. I don't know, maybe sometimes then people are not always as so open to doing some of the other things. Like they strictly want to just do the environments, not always the characters, or vice versa. Yeah, I'm feeling open to doing any of them. I'd like them to mesh together. Okay, excuse me, yeah, but mesh together, so to speak. Luckily for games now, it's not too difficult. I'm trying not to make it too difficult. I don't know, that's the end of the day, huh? It's like, I know kind of what it's for, and that's kind of all that really should be my concern. Oh my god, I feel like I've searched every bookshelf in this library. There's seriously. I just wanted the waypoint to get here faster. Just a little bit. This is a little deviation.
Please, go with care, friend.
My bad, I didn't set up that artillery. It's my half part. I would need something with a red link to give that a go. So now I'm gonna need a 4 linked item, 3 green, 1 red. And if that red could be somewhere in the middle of it all.
Beauty will grow from your remains.
Blunt.
That would only slow me down.
It's not bad. Physical damage to attacks. One moment.
What is it? Be careful. Need something?
You stand before the gates of the Lord's labyrinth. Within these walls, the Lady of Justice doth preside. She shall weigh your mind in one ascent with precision.
My mana is gone.
traveler draws close to the end of the path. Some things that slumber should never be awoken. Claim your inheritance.
My mana is gone.
To command, to act. Justice is served.
How you going?
Bring me back something nicer.
Hello?
My mana is gone. I'm not up to that just yet.
had pursued a greater existence for us all. What have you ever done but serve yourself? Damn you!
Your death doesn't fix anything, Piety, but at least it won't get any worse.
You have claimed. Be well.
Piety's off to meet the mate. Bring me back something nice, huh?
Where are they? Bye.
Piety. Unfortunate. Goodbye, Exile.
You're looking sharp.
those who ascend too quickly, the fall. The goddess is watching.
My mana is gone.
For those who ascend too
Mistakes
quickly,
were
the fall is inevitable.
Alright, we got it this time, right?
My mana is low.
The weary traveler draws close to the end of the path. Some things that slumber should never be awoken. Death and loyalty. You were born for this. Pity the Emperor who sits alone on his throne. When the time comes to strike, an emperor strikes without hesitation. To entertain doubt is to dance with death. Slowness lends strength to one's enemies. No two battles are alike.
My mana is gone.
Finish this. Such resilience. Wisdom is the offspring of suffering and time.
I'm not up to that just yet.
aspirant can afford to be promising. An emperor must keep those promises. You must navigate your empire through troubled waters. Are you a martyr?
My mana is full.
Your destination is more dangerous than the journey.
Resist completely. Elaborate.
Before your emperor, you are worthy. Before the goddess of justice, you are worthy. Receive our blessings, embrace our gifts, and rise ascendant. For this is the ending that we all deserve. A woman can change the world with a single well-placed arrow.
Yes? Watch yourself. Hello.
Level 40. Ah, there goes our grace. Our blink arrow. How can I lock it from leveling up? well, oh well. I just threw those on, yeah, that's why I threw it on. Got full percent. Alright, let's wrap up Act 3. We'll call this session done.
I give you to the earth. Why do we insist on building mountains? Why not just go and climb them?
woman's purpose to tempt and try the will of man. Seen the true face of God, exile. Shrink not from God to the touch of God. The light of divinity. Die. This world is an illusion, exile.
Some of us live to regret our mistakes. Some of us don't. Try not to take it personally.
You?
Cities are a blight upon nature, and San was the foulest of them all.
We opened the gate. This land is...
It's one thing to watch in awe as the she-wolf hunts, quite another to...
Seems like the... Ta-da.
Although we succumb, speak.
Can't see why I'd want to do that here.
I am Tasu. Your path is as... Hunt well.
Well, everyone, thank you for watching. Tune in next time. Take care, Exiles.